Alrighty then, live Q&A here. Hello folks, how you doing? I'm on Z, so shut up. That's right, shut up.
I don't know what you're saying.
Anyway, hey, yeah, I'm on. Anyway, leave me alone, Z. Alright, so, wow. I got 3 questions already. That's amazing. Of course, they were already there before I started the live stream. Anyway, it's the first time I've ever done this, so it's probably going to be clunky. And we'll see. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Doing this. Don't do that. Anyway, all right, first question. Let's go. Hey, Sam, just bought Star Wars Armada core set. Looking to expand. What expansions should I create? What should I collect? Collecting both sides. I hate questions like this because use your own mind. But at the same time, what I bought all of the Rebel fighter expansions. I've bought an extra of both of the ones that come in the core set, and then I bought more TIE fighters and the ones that have all the different kinds of TIE fighters in them. That's all I've bought, and then I also bought a mat for it as well. I'm not up to speed on Armada, but that's what I bought, so do with that what you want. Have you ever played Star Wars Epic Duels? Yes, a long time ago. Do you think there is a chance that Fantasy Flight may create a new version since they own the Star Wars Minis license? I don't know. Is there a chance? Maybe. But I doubt it. It has been nice seeing your increased contributions to the Dice Tower. Have you missed your teaching job? I haven't missed the job part of it. I've missed the kid interaction part of it. I'm a youth pastor, so that's what I really enjoy doing is the interaction with all the kids. But I don't miss, paperwork. I don't miss grade books. Don't miss tests, grading tests, and all of that other kind of stuff. So half and half, maybe. What was the biggest disappointment in 2015? What game was the biggest disappointment in 2015? We have actually talked about that on the year in review video, so go check that out. There were a lot of disappointments for me, so you can pick any one of the ones that I talk about. Finished listening to all the Dice Table episodes. Really appreciate how well you speak on there. I don't really speak that well. Dan just is a good editor. We especially appreciate your tone and manner. Great work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Before it gets too crazy in here, I want to wish everyone at the Dice Tower and in chat a happy and healthy new year. Well, that was not a question. But thank you. I'm a minute late.
You don't have to read everything.
Shh. This is mine, Tom. Be quiet. Let's see here. I kind of want to try Blood Rage, but as a history student, more into historical Vikings more than the pimped up versions, mythological Vikings of Blood Rage. Can you recommend it anyway? If you don't like mythological Vikings and all of that kind of stuff, then you probably won't be too interested in that. I don't think so. Hello, Radu George. I'm doing fine, thank you. Do you think you're more or less inclined to enjoy Euros these days than in past years? It depends on the Euro. It depends on who I'm playing with. Probably not. Euros are really dry, so it kind of depends more upon the people I'm playing with than the actual game experience. So if I'm playing with a bunch of people that I enjoy playing games with that are not just focused on the game but can focus on both the game and some engaging conversation, well then I'll probably enjoy the Euro. Who has a better board game team, Mr. and Mrs. Healey or Mr. and Mrs. Vasil? I'm going to diplomatically decline to answer that question because my wife might be watching and I don't want to have to go home and get hit. Do you shave your head for style or for practical purposes? Practical purposes, quite frankly. I save money on shampoo, and I don't buy shaving creams, so I shave with the dry razor, and that's that. It's not style. I just started doing it one day and I haven't stopped. Wow. I don't have any suggestions to promote board gaming in countries like India. I've never lived there, never even been there. Limited distributor reach, but a huge potential gaming audience. Well, that could be said about any number of different countries. There's always, where people live, that's a huge potential market. So, don't really know. If you were to pick any of the Catan expansions to play, which one? None of them. Dice Tower going to be at the New York Toy Fair this year at all? I don't think so. Tom might show up, but I think I overheard him saying that he wasn't going to go. So, there you go. Who do you like to read? That stupid YouTube thing, it did it again. There it is. Who do you like to read both fiction and nonfiction? I don't have a specific person. I do read a lot of nonfiction, but it's usually faith-based type stuff. So, fiction, I don't really have a favorite author. Usually if I'm reading, it's for academic purposes, not pleasure. Should I keep unusual suspects if I have code names in my collection? I don't really like code names, but I like unusual suspects. So yeah, keep unusual suspects. Is it true that Citadel will no longer make paints for models? I have not heard yes or no. Good to see the Dice Tower more. How many thumbs up would you give Bang the Duel game? I watched a review, would get the Bang the Dice game, but I usually play with 2 or 3 player games. How many thumbs up would I give? If you've already watched my review, don't know why you're asking that question. I think it's good for a 2-player game, and I think it carries the same feeling that the larger game has, just in a 2-player format. So I really like Bang the Dice game a lot more than the actual Bang card game. So I guess I would say maybe as a game in general, probably just 1 thumb up. But as a 2-player game, I'll give it 1.5 thumbs up. Just not 2. Have you ever considered designing a board game? Yeah, I come up with a lot of ideas, but you just usually don't have anybody that'll help me flesh those ideas out. So there you have it. Tom and Laura were talking smack about how they could beat you and your wife. Huh, interesting. Depends on the game. If it's a stupid little numbers card game, yeah, probably. But any other good game, yeah, we would probably beat them. Have you played Robinson Crusoe yet? No, I have not. Stop it, Z. Stop petting me. I'm not a dog. In your experience, was there ever a time that you felt that board gaming was at a weak or low point, and if so, when do you feel that it made a resurgence? Probably, I guess it felt like it was at a low point before I got back into it, but that was really because I wasn't paying attention to it that much, I would probably imagine. I think it's really been growing for the entire time that we've been doing the Dice Tower, or that I've been doing the Dice Tower rather, which is about a decade or a little bit more. So I think it's been a steady growth, and there's been kind of an explosion the last couple of years. But so I guess we're in the middle of a resurgence, really. So shut the door. There you go. It seems that these streams can now be watched in Germany. He's very pleased. I'm glad you are. Tabitha Bear Gaming says, I played TI3 once, but I couldn't see how I would play it differently in repeated plays, race to build War Suns. When you play it, do you use the same tactic every time or mix it up? You have to base your tactics on what race you're playing. You can't play the same race like you would play any other race. So I guess you could try the same tactics every time if you're playing the same race every time, but that's kind of boring. And a lot of those different races have really cool abilities that help you do better. Some of them are better than others, but that's part of the fun of the game. So I guess to answer your question, I would mix it up. I want a miniature game, one that is easy to get and cheap. What game is good for that? Miniature games usually aren't cheap because there's more involved components in them. So there's so many open-ended parts of that question. I mean, what genre are you talking about? Do you want fantasy? Do you want sci-fi? I mean, there's a whole number of different things out there. I guess for fantasy, I'd go with maybe Descent 2.0 or Battlelore 2.0. If you want the dungeon crawlies, there's the Descent. Then there's level 7 Omega Protocol that has a sci-fi aspect to it. Zombicide Black Plague just came out. That has a really cool medieval setting and has good miniatures in it as well. If you're talking about like tabletop gaming, then good night in the morning. There's so many out there, but they're lesser. They're not really inexpensive. They're all pretty pricey. So see what you like. Buy what you think is best. Are you looking forward to the level 7 expansion coming out next year? Yeah. We haven't played a level 7 Omega Protocol in a while, but lost my place again. But I mean, when they come out with new stuff, I'm always interested in it to see how it's going to change the game and how it's going to affect how you play the game, if it does at all. So I'm always interested in finding out, checking out new things. What's the one genre of games you find yourself liking more now than you have in the past? More now than in the past. Maybe it's because there are so many more of them out there, but games that have card drafting mechanics in it. That's not really a genre, but yeah, that's probably what it would be. Not a particular genre though. I like many different. I think it comes down to more how you play the game and if the theme fits, whether I'm going to like that genre or not. So greetings from Koblenz. Expectations for games in 2016. More of the same, maybe some better. I mean, 2015 and 2014 were both really pretty decent years for games. So I don't see how that level of gaming quality can continue, and the number of games that come out that are all good can continue. At some point it's gotta hit a wall, I think, or at least not bubble. So I don't know about 2016. we're still playing the games in 2015, so we really haven't really started to look forward to 2016 yet. But there's a lot of different things that I'm looking forward to doing that are gaming related, but not specific games. Just received Shadows over Camelot, but already own Dead of Winter. Is Shadows 2 similar? I don't think so. I think Shadows over Camelot will be accepted by a lot of different people. Zombies is kind of a divisive theme, so Dead of Winter has that. I think you might be able to get Shadows over Camelot to the table more often, but really that comes down to your gaming group. With the awesome reprints of Fury of Dracula, Mission Red Planet, El Grande, what game do you want to see next get a sweet upgrade or reprint? I would really like to see Colosseum get a good reprint. I've said in the past that I don't like the artwork design that we really have only seen from Tasty Minstrel about the reprint that they're working on, and I don't like that artistic direction that they've taken. So I'm hoping that they go back to the drawing board a little bit and maybe rethink some of those decisions, but I don't know. Colosseum is a great game, and I'd like to see it hit the airwaves, so to speak, again. But other than that, there are so many good games coming out. I don't know about reprints. Maybe Queen's Gambit could deal with a reprint. I know they just came out with Risk Star Wars Edition that was kind of like Queen's Gambit Light, but with the popularity of Star Wars still going on, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. What's the favorite part of your job? I don't know. I like it all. I don't really have a favorite part. I guess maybe the favorite part would be getting to go to all those conventions and being able to meet all those people, all you people. That's probably my favorite part. I like doing that a lot. But all the other stuff is fun too. So it's a great job. Can we see a live game of you and Tom in the new Star Wars Risk? I guess that's a possibility. That's a pretty quick one. But that's more a question for Tom. He's the one that makes those kinds of decisions. Is there a starter kit for painting minis that you would recommend? Well, there are Army Painter has one, Citadels has one. I probably tend to like using Citadel paints a little bit more. They seem to be a little bit more consistent. The only thing I don't like about Citadels is the bottle, how it has a little flip top thingy, and I'm always getting paint all over my fingers because I don't navigate those very well. But the quality of paint I think is better with Citadels than with Army Painter. I've used both of them, and I have both of their painting sets. So it really comes down to you and what you're going to be painting and how deep you want to go into it. I tend to like the Citadel products a little bit better, but Army Painter is good stuff too. Let's see. Love to play you in Star Realms. What are your favorite expansions? Will you give out your player name or challenge me? I actually don't usually play games online with other people because what I've usually found, and it has nothing to do with not wanting to play the game online, it's just that people who engage in online gaming are usually a lot better at the games than I am. And so I find myself getting trounced more often than actually enjoying the game. But at the same time, I've actually never played it online just because I don't like online gameplay. Through whatever that name is. See, I don't even know what it is. But if I ever do, sure, I'd be willing to play you. If you could sum up your time at the Dice Tower as a paid employee in one word, what would it be? Wow, this is a hard question because I got my coworker sitting right here. I got my boss sitting right here. He's probably listening.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. This guy. I'm going to say engaging. I'll put it that way. Because engaging for me is a good thing. So there you have it. What are you most looking forward to seeing in the UK next year? Well, I've got a tentative, possible, maybe going to happen trip to the Games Workshop headquarters. And I'm looking forward to that because I've enjoyed their games for a very long time. So I think it'd be fun to go check out their headquarters and some little village that they have going on there. I don't even know. But again, I'm just kind of looking forward to meeting a lot of the people. I've got a few that are over there that I talk to a lot, Chris Bromley, Luke Pryor, and I'm looking forward to meeting those guys and everybody else that's over there that I haven't. I've got a friend that I used to game with in San Francisco that lives in England. Hopefully, maybe I get to see him too. But I don't know. I'm more kind of a people person than a attraction kind of person. I mean, I'm gonna want to go around in London and that type of stuff. I would have loved to have gone to a Red Devils game, Manchester United. I'm a Manchester United fan, but of course that's not during the season, so there's that. So I don't know. I'm really open. I'm just excited to have the opportunity to go. Thomas 64, curious how big you are and Z. How big are you and Z? Don't have to re-ask Z during his time. Not sure I'll still be around. So Z, how tall are you?
5'10".
He's 5'10", and I'm about 6 foot, maybe 5'11". Z and I are pretty close to about the same height. Tom's a big one. You just mentioned that there were a few things about full-time reviewing that surprised you. What were they? Nothing really in particular, I guess. Just things that I didn't expect to. Playing, for example, you have to, in order to review a game, you've got to get it played, and that's sometimes the hardest part of reviewing a game. It's real simple to kind of explain how the game plays and then explain your thoughts on it. It's getting the game played that's usually the harder part, and I thought it would be the other way around. So I guess when you're dealing with the volume of games that we deal with, it's just a little bit more that way. But how's Dice Tower Con feel different than a BGG Con? It seems to me that it's a little bit easier to get a pickup game going with people that you don't know at Dice Tower Con than at BGG Con. There's also a larger publisher company presence at BGG Con than there has been at Dice Tower Con. That's probably going to change over the next few years, though, as Dice Tower Con continues to grow. I would imagine. I really don't know. I'm not on that end of planning things and all that kind of stuff. But I think there's just a little bit more of a Dice Tower Con to me feels more like a really big house that a whole bunch of people live in, that they all enjoy playing games. They don't care who they play with. They just want to play games. Whereas BGG Con, there were a little bit more, it felt like, I guess, there were more, I don't know, factions. It was just harder to get into a game. You had to almost kind of schedule it the day before. Whereas with Dice Tower Con, you really don't have to do that. You can just walk in and play games with whoever you want to play games with. Okay, that's the second person that said you guys are smack talking us, okay? So maybe it wasn't a lie. Alrighty then. Alright. No, I didn't watch that part of it. My wife watched part of it as well. We must have missed that part. I have to go back and watch it. With all the time that you spent in Korea, did you learn Korean, and how, and if so, how hard is it to learn? Korean actually isn't difficult to learn. The alphabet and all that kind of stuff, and even how to write it, is actually really simple. I didn't learn it as well as I probably should have with as many years that I spent over there. But I find myself practicing what I did learn from time to time, and we went to a Korean restaurant a few days ago with the guys up at Cool Stuff right before we went to see Star Wars, and I found myself getting back into that a little bit. I actually tried talking to the waitress in Korean a little bit, and it was a little bit more stilted than I would have liked it, but I didn't learn it as well as I should have, but I do remember most of what I did learn, so that's good. Let's see. Who won between you and Z if you have played Raptor together? I won. Yeah.
Raptor?
Yeah. And Z was being helped by Bruno Cathala, and I still won. So that went on my belt as a notch of pride. Excluding Florida and Korea, if you had to live somewhere, where would it be? If I had to, I guess you're meaning if I get to pick where I want to live. It would probably be one of two places. One because I've lived there before and I really enjoyed my time there, and then the other one because I've never been there before and I would really like to. But one is Germany. I used to live in Germany when my dad was in the Air Force when I was a kid in middle school, and really enjoyed living there. I loved the climate. I loved everything about living in Germany. So I would probably like to do that, although I know the cost of living there is kind of high. The other one is Ireland or somewhere close, British Isles, something like that. That would be cool. So one of those two places. Who is the best dexterity game player in the Dice Tower crew? I have no idea. I don't play enough dexterity games. But I mean, Tom's pretty good at it, but I don't know. Any games you'd like to see in the Legacy style? No. I'm good with the Legacy style the way it is right now. Pandemic Legacy was a really cool experience. And I think that it's one of those things that if you try to, shoehorn it into too many different games, it's going to get old really quick. So I'm good with what's there now. Let's see. What games would you consider modern replacement for Risk 2210 AD with a similar feel? Well, the level 7 people came out with one that had a kind of the same feel as that. What was the name of that one? Level 7, Tom?
Actually, I'm not listening. What?
Yeah, Level 7 came out with a Risk-ish type game where it was...
The world one?
Yeah, it had the whole world map and you had to... I can't remember the name of it. Maybe somebody else will do that. We'll put that name up there. But the same people that came out with the... Invasion, level 7 Invasion. That probably has a similar feel as Risk 2210 AD. Dust was one that had a same kind of feel as that. So, what's my favorite game mechanic? I guess if I had to break it down completely, my favorite game mechanic would probably come between either card drafting, or dice rolling. Those two, and worker placements in there too. So those are my top three, and depending on the day, depending on my mood, anyone could be in that top spot. Since I lived in Germany, do I speak German? Again, no, I was in middle school. I was a dumb teenager that was more important about being American in the middle of Germany than I was actually learning the culture, which is one of the reasons I would love to go back, because now in my more mature state, I would focus upon that aspect of living in Germany, focusing on the culture, focusing on learning the language a little bit more than I did when I lived there. So there's a little bit better of a chance that I would actually come away from Germany with a better taste for the culture. Let's see, trying to get back. Goodness gracious. There we are. Family Showdown, great, keep going, keep painting. He says that he just painted his first miniatures and sent Rob an email thanking both of us there and thanking us in person here. Thank you for watching and for taking a leap. I think you'll enjoy that. What or who inspired you to start YouTube? I didn't start YouTube, somebody else did. But Tom is the one that runs the YouTube site that we use at the Dice Tower. I don't actually put any of my videos up on my own personal channel. I put all the videos that I do for the Dice Tower on the Dice Tower's channel. So very similar. I've been asked a very similar question. How did I get into podcasting when I was a co-host of the Dice Tower podcast? And basically, it's just the relationship that I have with Tom. It's just something that happened. I didn't really choose to do it. Never played Mission Red Planet as a 3-player, so I don't know what I would think of it. As I understand, you were on the Dice Tower podcast a long time ago. Now you work for Tom. Would you like to join Tom and Eric there? Not really. That's kind of a chapter that's closed. I mean, if something happened where Eric wouldn't be able to do it and Tom asked me to do it with him, yeah, sure, I'd do it. But it's not something that I'm clamoring for or trying to position myself to do. I've got plenty of other things to do with the Dice Tower. So, I mean, sure, I'll step in and fill the spot if something happens where that needs to be done, but not trying to do that route. My favorite TV series, right now, favorite TV series is, there's a number of them. We watch Grimm. Blue Bloods is one that I've been watching a lot of lately, catching up on. I like Flash and the Green Arrow, or just Arrow. I also like Bones, something my wife and I like to watch together a lot. And Falling Skies. We're catching up on Falling Skies episodes last week. Yesterday we just binge watched about 3 or 4 episodes of Falling Skies season 5, and I'm really enjoying that. Noah Wiley is is one of my favorite actors. Wow. I guess Tom really was going off. This is like everybody's saying how Tom is just talking smack about him and Laura just whooping me and my wife in a game.
When? Oh, during their Q&A?
Yeah. Wow. See, I thought they were nice people. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Non-board gaming question. Saw you wearing an Oilers jersey in a picture. Fan of hockey, favorite team? Not my favorite team. Fan of hockey, yes. The Oilers jersey was I don't even remember the name of the guy now, but it was their goalie's jersey, and I was a goalie in hockey when I played hockey back in my years just out of high school, and played in Korea for a while too. So I'm just a fan of hockey. My favorite team is the Blackhawks. And I've been a favorite, and they've been my favorite team for a long time. I'm not a bandwagoner, so be quiet. What game are your boys wanting to play with you at the moment? That's an easy one, Zombicide Black Plague. My son asks me on a regular basis. Here during the break, I think he's asked me every day. And of course, we haven't played it that often, but Zombicide Black Plague is the one that they're asking me to play most. Discussions. Walk us through the discussion and decision for you to come on the Dice Tower full time. Whose idea was it? Were you wanting to see if Z would crash and burn before you made the decision? You're an evil person. No, I would never want to see that happen. Good night. No, the decision was, well, first of all, Tom didn't think that he could afford it, and it just kind of went from there. We talked about it, and if it was a possibility, then I told him I'd be interested in it. If it wasn't a possibility, I would just keep doing what I was doing. So it's just one of those things where, it wasn't me wanting anybody else to do badly. It was, if it can happen, I'd like it to happen. It was a possibility, so we went forward. What did you and your wife, kids, think about you leaving the teaching profession to join a board game profession full time? Well, part of the main reason why we made that flop was because it wasn't just the teaching that I was doing at school. There was a lot of different things I was involved with. I was the youth pastor at the church. I was Bible teacher at the school. I also was in charge of the chapel services. I was also doing other things like coaching soccer. And 1 year I was the senior sponsor, so that had a lot of different extra responsibilities on it. So it wasn't just the teaching that was kind of stressing me out. It was everything else. So the decision was really how can we come to a point where we can have about the same level of living ability with less stress. That's where it came from. And so my wife and my kids were on board with it. Nope, not answering that one, Seth. Sorry. Should Fantasy Light make an app like Golem Arcana for X-Wing, Imperial Assault, or Armada? I've actually never played Golem Arcana. I'm familiar with the idea. Any kind of companion apps like that for those kind of games, as long as they're not too intrusive, sure, I'd be on board for it. Please consider doing a live playthrough for the first time you play Robinson Crusoe. Well, we'll see. I'm almost reserved that I will never play that game for the rest of my life, because it just won't happen. Should you own both Blood Rage and Champions of Midgard in collection? Would it be overkill Viking-wise? I think you can get they're really two different kinds of games. Champions of Midgard is more of a Stone Age-y worker placement kind of game, whereas Blood Rage is more of a conflict card drafting game. And they really have two dissimilar feelings. So I think, yeah, you could own both of them. And they're both pretty good Viking themed games. So I'd say go for it. Nerzenjäger. What about the Washington's War review? Again, that's low on the totem pole, but it's possible. Let's see. I'm looking for some more. If you were to throat punch a coworker, who would it be? Well, seeing as how I only have two coworkers and one of them is my boss, Z would probably.
So funny here.
Yeah, there's something funny over there. So that's how it goes. Nothing against Z. That's just a default. Let's see here. Notice that you and Z prefer Resistance over Avalon. I can't speak for him, but any particular reason, I just didn't think that the fantasy theme fit that gameplay, and I also didn't like the whole Merlin idea that Avalon brought with it. I liked just the kind of more clean, streamlined version that the sci-fi version came out with. So that's that. Big fan. We genuinely have a small Irish fan club for you. All right, yeah. Are any plans on joining us over the way? Well, the closest I can get right now is the UK Gaming Expo. So hit me up while I'm there, and would love to meet you. What What did you do for Christmas? Any fun traditions? The only real fun traditions that we have, I guess, is we cook a Korean meal instead of a traditional, I guess you could say, American meal with turkey and all that other kind of stuff. We usually cook a Korean food now. Usually it's bulgogi and the pot stickers, mandu, and rice and lettuce and that kind of stuff, kimchi. We started doing that because when we moved to Korea, finding a turkey was like next to impossible, and if you did find it, you paid a lot for it. So we just went with what we could find, and we've stayed with that. Other than that, we do stuff like we watch The Christmas Story every year. We watch a couple other movies as well, and throughout in that Christmas week, not all in one day. Otherwise, it's just spending time with family. That's the funnest thing about it. If a Tom Vazel costume existed, what would it consist of? Well, without a doubt, a hat of some kind. A garish one, probably. And then some type of tie that kind of, but not really matches the rest of the costume. Do you and your wife make a better gaming team than Tom and his wife? Man, this keeps coming up. What did you guys say? Goodness gracious. I don't know. And again, it depends on the game. Amerithrash, I think we can take them. What are good work building games that introduced to that kind of game? Work building? I don't know what that means. Maybe clarify and I'll come back to it. Man City fan here, in game. United forever. What? Do you have any suggestions to getting someone to play TI3 when their chief complaint is that it's too long? No, because if they're not wanting to invest the time, they're probably not going to have fun, and they'll resent you for trying to make them do it. Try something else that's a little bit shorter and has the same idea to it. Which light warish games would you recommend to start with? Enjoy Battle War 2nd Edition, Heroes of Normandy. What else? Just to have fun. Memoir 44 is right down that avenue. Light, easy to play, war themed. Very similar to Battle War 2nd Edition, but it has a real history skin over it. Heroes of Normandy has more of a theatrical feel to it than an actual historical feel to it, so do that what you will. No, I've never played Memoir 44 with Heroescape terrain, although that sounds like it would be a cool thing. Are board games starting to feel more like work than a fun hobby? Yes and no. Yes, when you find a stinker of a game that you have to review. No, when you find those new games that you really enjoy, and then they prompt you to go back and play the games that you already enjoyed. So it's a give and take. Yeah, it can feel like work sometimes because there's that game that you know you need to review, but you don't really want to because you're not gonna praise it the way everybody wants you to praise it, and so but you still have to do it for integrity's sake. So yeah, it feels like a job sometimes, but that's okay. This is a great job, so not worried about it. What is my real name? Baron von Schlugenheim. My real name is Sam Healey. My full name is Samuel Lorden Healey. The middle name is eccentric. It's because it was my mom's doctor's last name, and he was a military doctor, and he took very good care of her in a military hospital, which back then was a rare thing. So She honored him by giving me his middle name. Would you say board games have lost some of the magic since it has become a full-time job? No. Got about 5 minutes left here now. So let's go ahead and find some interesting questions. Not that the ones that I'm seeing are not interesting. I'm looking. Let's see here. Are you a fan of ramen? Not the 69-cent stuff, but the good stuff. Yes, very much so. As a matter of fact, we had that last night for dinner at our house. Captain America or Gimli the Dwarf? Hopefully this is not who's fighting each other. I would have to say is, if you're talking about my actual personality, I'd probably have to say Gimli the Dwarf without, minus the drinking. There you go. Has board gaming with others strengthened your face? It says strengthen your face. I'm assuming you meant faith, or helped you create Christian community. Board gaming can lead down that path, yes, but it doesn't have to, of course. But can it strengthen a Christian community? Yeah, I think so, because it depends upon the connection that people make. So there you go. Are there unacceptable ways to roll dice? Yes. How much does getting painted miniatures cost? Is it per piece? Usually yes. But sometimes you might get somebody that is willing to paint a lot of miniatures for one price, but usually I would imagine they, in the background, in their minds, they have a calculator. Well, there's 50 models, I'll charge them this much. And so there you have it. Just a couple more minutes now. I've got to go so that we can get ready for Z's. Not too many people I see in gaming seem to reflect yours and Tom's faith in Christ. Have you seen anyone want to know Christ this way? Are you and Tom intentional in using the hobby to do this? If you mean that, is it a tactic? No. It's just simply another part of our life. We are Christians. I am a Christian, so that affects how I view the world. Hobby gaming is part of that world. So I don't use it as a tactic. However, if my gaming invites people over to that other part of my life, which is Christianity, and they're interested in it, well then, fine, we'll go that route. But no, I'm not going to use board gaming as a hook to try to snag people. It's just part of who I am. Last question. Playing more games. Yeah, 3.
No, you could do like 3 more minutes.
Okay, 3 more minutes or so. Okay, so I got extra minutes. Let's see. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? I would have to go with Star Wars. Just because I'm a little bit more of a sci-fi fan than I am a fantasy fan. If you could sleep, but you don't know how, what drink would you eat? That is an amazingly meta question. And I have no clue how to answer it. So that was cool. Are there any games that you actively avoid due to unchristian themes? There have been games that I have enjoyed less because they seem to be anti-Christian in some shape or form, or the theme is very anti that type of thing. Chaos in the Old World comes to mind, because it's all about, you're playing demons and that kind of thing, and that's just not something I want to do. It doesn't give me the heebie-jeebies or make me have nightmares or anything like that. It's just I just don't choose to play those. I don't choose to enjoy those kinds of games. But there aren't any ones that I actively avoid. Eric Lang's The Others is coming out, and I was very excited to give that a play. Even though I knew it was going to have a rather dark theme, I was very excited to see what kind of construct came out of his mind again. And it is a very involved game, a lot of cool mechanics, but again, it's the theme, the darkness. So I guess if that's what you're talking about, do I just not want to play it? Then yeah, I guess that happens. But there's so many other games out there, I don't really care. Why don't you review the Imperial Assault expansions? Stay tuned. I'm going to start doing that. So, what did you think of the latest Star Wars movie? I really enjoyed it, except for one part of it that I didn't enjoy. But I think what a lot of people are, I don't know, it's kind of half and half. Some people are thinking that it's cool to hate on it, and other people are just so happy that that the franchise is continuing. And I guess that's kind of where I am. And it's not being trodden upon. It's actually being built in a constructive way. And one of my views for this movie is that it was a beginning step to get back into it. There's a lot of setup that was necessary in this movie, and so if you go into it watching that, knowing that they are making a second and a third sequel, then you'll understand, I think, that there had to be a lot of setup in this one, which means that the second and third movies are just going to be that much better. So I really enjoyed it, had a great time. My whole family enjoyed it. My son Aiden was sitting next to me, and he was cracking up at certain parts of it, and just being able to hear him laugh, that just made me enjoy the movie that much more. If he can enjoy it and I can enjoy it at the same time, that's a pretty good movie. I don't like micro games. What's your favorite micro games? I don't like micro games. So, do you read books in the Star Wars Expanded Universe, or are you mainly into the movies? I have read a lot of Star Wars Extended Universe books, but I like the whole universe. It's not just the movies. Well, I think that is about it. We got to get ready for Z's live Q&A. So thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. And we'll see you later on. Have a good one. And now we're going to come back over here. And I'm going to stop a streaming. And then I'm going to hit